Something for dinner at least, eh? Hi, welcome back to Muddy Feet. This week's episode is situated in a beautiful place called Kaimomo. We'll be camping out for a couple of nights, and during the day we'll be fishing the shallows, targeting snapper and trevally. There'll be some successes, some failures, some laughs and some banter. So grab your popcorn, kick back and get ready for another Muddy Feet fishing adventure. So I'm just going to do a real quick set of the mullet net. I'm just camping out tonight. I've got a mate that may be going to join me a little bit later on. So I was thinking I'll slip the mullet net in and see if I can catch just 1 or 2 fish for us to share for dinner. Yeah, real simple, bit of a catch and cook mission, see how I get on. Hopefully I can get a fish for dinner. So I've just dumped the net out of the bin. I'm just going to run it into the bin nicely, get it all tidy, so that while I'm setting the net it just falls out of the bin. So all I'm really doing here is chucking the first float and anchor in the bottom of the bin, then spreading out the lead line and the float line so that all of the lead lines are in the back of the bin and all of the float lines are in the front. I'm also making sure that there's no debris or tangles in the net, and then she's pretty good to go. By doing this, when I cast that first anchor, the net will pretty much fall out of the bin set. Quick shout out to Greg Tucker at Fish for Tucker for these awesome mud shoes. Cheers bro, I do like muddy feet but I don't like oyster shells, and these things certainly do the job in keeping my feet safe. Thanks mate. Rightio, net's all loaded into the bin beautifully. Time to make a move. Let's get this thing in the water and see if we can catch a fish for dinner. So here, as you can see, I've chucked that first anchor and I'm just walking the line that I want the net to be set on, and the net's just falling out of the bin nice and straight, no tangles, no snags. That's what we want to see. On my way back in, I walk along the net and every now and then I lift that float line just to make sure that the net's all sitting beautifully. When I get back to the other side, I secure my float boat to a mangrove, and then it's time to head back to camp, kick back and make a cuppa. Mean. Well, that's the net set. Give that a couple of hours to soak and see what we get. Fast forward an hour, the water's started pushing up and it's time to check the net. Yes mate, look at that, target species. Beautiful big fish, just what we needed for dinner. Yes, beautiful big mully. I'll be careful not to lose this fella, I didn't bring the bin. And they're quite strong around the shoulders, these buggers. Look at that. Beautiful big mully, target species. Beautiful. Success. Beautiful big mully for dinner. Yoo-hoo! Man, this catch and cook's on. Beautiful mully, just chilling out there in the ice. You can just stay nice and cold in there until dinner time. My brother Quinn, aka Kai Machine, has arrived. Just cruise out for another quick check of the net. Hopefully there's another mully in there. Species. Yeah, good mully.
Oh, look, a bit of a young tuna coming to say hello. Young kaitiaki. Oh, see you later, bruv. Something for dinner at least, eh? I mean, nice size eaters too. Yum. Fatty mullet.
That's a beauty size.
Not bad.
I popped them in the ice to set, but it wasn't much longer than an hour before I got hungry for a snack. So I was pulling them back out and taking them down to the water's edge to clean them up. There's lots of different ways to cook mullet, but my two favourites are smoked and the way that I'm going to be doing them today, which is poached. Yeah, sure, poached mullet is a very simple dish, but sometimes simple things are delicious. And for me, poached mullet is one of my absolute favourite fish dishes. All you got to do is simply whip the scales off your mullet, gut them, gill them, and give the inside of those belly walls a bit of a scrape to remove some of that black stuff. Give them a bit of a rinse, and then simply chop them into chunks, pop them in a pot, add a whole heap of salt, add just enough water to cover your fish, and then add an onion.
Yeah, bro, beautiful. Mine are rustic. People get on my case about how I do my rustic onions sometimes. See, I got rustic hands too because I've been chopping up the mullet, but I leave that rustic bit right there on the onion. No worries, holds the onion together, man. Happy days. Let's get that beautiful kai on there.
You very simply want to bring that to a boil and let it simmer for about 5 minutes, and that's it. It's done.
The mullet's looking beautiful. That's going to be the first course. That looks like the second course. Not bad at all, bro. Oh, I'd say it's pretty much ready, eh? We'll just give it like a minute to relax.
Yep.
It's my plate. Plate's in. We're on, bro. My fork. Bro, we're on. Well, there's no fancy way. It's just into it, eh, bro?
Yep.
Oh, bro, she's beautiful. One of those rustic onions. We almost need the big spoon, eh? Oi! Nowhere.
Oh, no.
I think I might have a better serving implement. Bro, that might be better, eh? The old spatch might do the job. There we go. Beautiful chunks. Very hearty.
Can't say no to a bread and butter salad, bro. Or bread salad at least.
Oh well, that's a successful little mullet netting mission as far as I'm concerned. Couple of fat mullies for dinner. Bro, you jump in it and I'll pull you, bro. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
When we got back to camp, we made ourselves another quick snack, but pretty quickly it got too dark to film and we decided to get a pretty early night anyway. We had some big plans for the next day. The idea was to get up pretty early, make a good breakfast and head out into the shallows, target snapper and trevally, land-based in knee-deep water. But first things first, we needed a hearty breakfast.
Leave.
After a healthy meal of rare venison steaks and sriracha sauce on a bread salad, it was time to turn our attentions towards the fishing mission ahead. It was time to get our gear ready and start putting our plan into action.
I'm just about to head out the harbour here. I'm going to walk out through the mangroves down this little creek and have a bit of a fish. The plan is to hopefully get ourselves a trevally for a bit of sashimi, but we'll take anything. Beggars can't be choosers. Here's my setup for today. Just tipped the old net out of the net bin. My net bin's made out of half a mussel float. It's good for all sorts of missions like this, getting oysters, going fishing out on the mud, or netting obviously. And I'm just taking the bare essentials: bait knife, a couple of bits of tackle, and I've got some real dodgy pillies. The bro Quinn's got a little bit of other bait for us too though. Should be enough to catch a feed. Sneaky muddy feet way through here in the shallows. Just managed to cross over the steeper part of the creek. Tide's humming out now. Bro's coming over too, and that's us. Going to head out to the channel, or as close as we can get to the channel, chuck a bait out, and hopefully these trevs are out there. Let's see how we get on. Right, so my plan with my little floating setup here is just tie the rope to my leg, and then I'll have all my snacks and supplies with my water and my bait nice and handy.
So as I mentioned, today for bait I'm using these pretty dodgy mushy old pillies for bait. So I'm using a little bit of bait cotton just to help keep them in place. And my rig for today is a very simple ledger rig with a sand grab sinker on the bottom, and about a foot up from the sand grab I've got quite a long loop with a single 4-bar O BKK circle hook attached. Now I've gone down to a 4-bar O because I know in this area there's some good sized trevally. The little hooks will still catch the big snapper, but they'll also help to secure those trevs.
Massive yellow tail just come out of the water. There was a big tail too. I just cast out as far as I could out the back there, and then about 5 meters away from us, just right next to us, I seen a big yellow trevally tail coming out of the water. So Rose put a bait in quite close. Hopefully we can get a hit just there. Blowing dogs off rocks, but we out here.
And it was all worth it, because I didn't have to wait too long until, wha-bam, I was hooked up. There were no nibbles with this fish. It just came along and absolutely inhaled the bait and took off. But after a short battle, I managed to get the fish turned and slowly started working it back towards me. And up came this absolutely beautiful specimen. I've got pretty light trace line, no net and no gaff, so I've got to be a little bit careful while landing this fish in the knee-deep water. My plan is to gently grab the trace and swing the fish up into my float boat.
How's that? Absolutely blowing dogs off rocks out here. But managed to get a beautiful snap. Not bad at all. Stoked with that one.
It is the middle of summer, but with these weather conditions and because I'm actually standing in the water, and also maybe partly because I'm built similar to a rake, I'm actually feeling pretty cold. So I decided to secure this fish and cover it up with the wet tea towel. This means that I'm on a bit of a time limit now. I can't stay out here too long because I want to make sure that that fish is in top quality for the table. So I'll have a few more baits, and if I don't have too much more success, I'll call it a day and take this fish back to shore where I've got a chili bin full of ice. I don't have to wait too long until my rod absolutely buckles over, and after a pretty epic battle, my suspicions are confirmed as an eagle ray slowly comes to shore. Now, using a ledger rig like I'm using today keeps the bait suspended up off the bottom and largely helps to avoid catching these guys, but every now and then you are still going to get the clever ones that come up the trace and eat the bait. You do have to keep in mind that these guys have a bony barb that's covered in some pretty horrible stuff at the base end of their tail, but so long as you treat them with a little bit of respect and be a little bit careful while handling them, they're perfectly safe. I casted out another 3 or 4 baits, but with no success, so I decided to take my snapper back to shore and get him on the ice. And as well as that, we were camping out for another night, and tomorrow we were going to be having another day's fishing. Whew. Quinn had stayed on for about another half an hour, and in that time the tide had turned and the fish came back on the chew. He managed to catch 4 good sized snapper and decided to keep this one because it had swallowed the hook and couldn't be released. Right, after that epic little adventure we were both pretty starving and it was time to prepare ourselves a bit of a snack. Quinn came up with the recipe. He suggested we should have crumb snapper bites in wraps mixed with whatever we had left in the bottom of the chili bin. So I quickly whipped the fillets off the snapper.
How fresh and beautiful that looks.
Not bad, eh? Bit of a young dust up. Yeah. Bit of that, bit of that, some of those. Bro, feast fit for kings. Look at that.
Looking good.
Crispy fish bites and wraps. We're on. Bro, beautiful. We're on.
Nice.
Have a quick sample of those. Good.
Man.
Beautiful. Yep, that much onion. A little bit more onion. That's a wrap. Oh yeah, lemon juice. Get back open. Right, now we're talking.
Oh yeah. Oh. Shit.
On, bro.
We ate every single one of those snapper bite wraps and decided to go for a quick afternoon nap. But similar to how bears hibernate, neither of us woke up until the next morning. So I got on to brewing us a coffee, and the bro Quinn organised another delicious venison steak breakfast, but today accompanied with onions.
Living large and camping this morning, bro.
Yep, bloody beautiful out here.
Kicking it here with the Bro Quinn Kai machine. Breakfast time at the campsite, and in not too long we're going to be gearing up and heading back out there. Mean day for it. It was blowing like a dog yesterday. It's about 1,000 times better than it was yesterday today, so hopefully we have a little bit better result. Salad over here, bro. This fella looking like some fishing genie over here. Double barrels. Me too though. It's a bit of an unconventional setup, but I reckon we're going to get into those big fish today, bro. We are on. Got me floaty boat. Bro's got his waders. I'm pretty jealous of those waders after a couple of days fishing in the water now. Not a bad setup at all. First bait just hit the water and smacked. Crazy. I threw my camera off. It looks red, bro. It looks red. Look at that. Beautiful stuff. First cast. Like 2 meters deep out there when they landed. Woo! Look at that, bro. I reckon we're going to be into an okay session, so I'm going to let this first beautiful one go. Right, another little mullet bait, fresh mullet. So I caught this mullet in the net the other day, and now I'm turning it into a few snapper.
Pretty much as soon as we got out there, the wind had picked back up, making conditions today pretty similar to yesterday. Thankfully, the fish were on the bite, and in not too long, I was into my second solid fish.
Woo! Is it good, eh? I think it's red.
You'll have to forgive me for the audio in these episodes from windier days. It's the best that I can do with the gear that I currently have. But if enough of you legends like and subscribe, there's a pretty good chance I'll be able to get one of those little mics with a fancy little wind cover.
Silly big old snapper. Look at that. It's like 2 meters deep out here, guys. And look at that fish. What a beauty. Beautifully corner hooked. You know, I think I might keep that one. Here we go. Yo! Not bad, bro! Knee deep at Kai Momo. Catching beautiful snapper. Not bad at all. I'll take that.
So I've decided to keep this beautiful snapper, and once again I'm going to wet my tea towel and keep him wet and covered as best that I can. But the reality is once I've decided to keep a fish, the clock is ticking. I can only cast a handful more baits before it'll be time to take this fish back and get him on the ice. Next up to strike was Quinn, who hooked into a good sized kahawai, and after a short battle he had it under control. After a quick chat we decided we'd keep this as well. This would go great as a bit of ceviche or maybe even a quick sashimi. Things went quiet for a few minutes, and I have to admit I was just about to pack it in when nibble nibble nibble, wha-bam, I was hooked up. Now this one here turned out to be another decent sized little kahawai, so that confirmed that ceviche was on the menu.
Hey!
In quick succession to this, I hooked up to another small fish, which turned out to be a pinner of a snapper, which I quickly released. At this point, I decided the fish had kind of gone off the chew and decided to head back to the relative comfort of the campsite. Quinn wanted to persevere for a little bit more, so I left him there to do battle.
I'm a little bit cold and wet. I managed to catch a few nice fish, and I'm about ready to tap out, go and get dried up, and go and get warm. Maybe a hot coffee, warm up the bones. Sweet as, I'll see you there, bro.
Turns out the fishing really had gone quiet, and Quinn returned to camp not too long after me. We tidied up quickly, packed up all our gear, and decided to hit the road in search of the next fishing adventure. Definitely a different style of video this week with a bit more camping and cooking, but I hope you guys all enjoyed it. And as always, thank you for watching. If you enjoy my content, remember to like and subscribe, it helps me out. And if you really want to support the Muddy Feet mission, go to www.muddyfeet.co.nz and purchase some merch. Cheers!